because it's a huge subject, the evolution of consciousness.
In 3 minutes.
No. And there's so many different definitions, and the one that particularly want to use comes from a book called The Integrated Theory of Intelligence, and there is a solitary, universal, basic substance that comprises all existence within our universe. And that's what we're talking about. You see, we have a transcendent God and an immanent God. I mean, it's the same God, but the transcendent is above and beyond its creations, and it sends forth a part of itself, which is the immanent God, that expresses in and through everything. So all of us, and we know this here, but most of the world apparently doesn't know it, that we're all units and expressions of this one God. So consciousness is flowing through us, and consciousness has every attribute of God. It is omnipresent, we're everywhere, it is all-powerful, omniscient, and of course, that's all-knowing, omnipotent, all-powerful. However, as it expresses through form, it can only express through the limitations of that form. So let's follow consciousness from the beginning, whenever that was. First, there was nothing but, whirling positive and negative or plus and minus particles or energy, and that began everything. We call it electrons, we call it protons, but it's energy expressing, and that's all there was, just spinning in endless, timeless space. That's the first stage of consciousness. Then it moves, and we don't know why. Something happens, consciousness decides, hey, I'm going to make a creation. And these begin, let me say, the first particle, the first thing, the first stage, we have an attribute. And every single stage, another attribute is added. So the first stage is attraction and repulsion. We can actually look at emotions within us, in humans, that began right then at the very beginning, because here it is, attraction and repulsion. So that's the first attribute. It moves then into the next stage, which is the mineral stage. And when we talk about the mineral or the chemical stage, everything that exists that we know of as land and sea and mountains and the Grand Canyon and beautiful gems and stones and all of the things that we have among us that we don't call live, but of course we know everything is live because it all has consciousness in it. But all of this is the second stage. And what's added here is organization. And as I go through these attributes, I want you to realize that's what we have. We have each of these attributes as humans to be able to use to continue to evolve in consciousness. So now we have organization, and all of these pluses and minuses and positive and negatives all came together and created all of these incredible things that we have in this universe. The third stage is the plant stage, and now something else is added, and that is the attribute of adaptation. That is so important as a human being for us to make use of that attribute, to really recognize the importance of it, because that is the attribute that allows us to be able to deal with our environment. It is constantly changing. We're talking about the chaos that's out there. Well, if we don't adapt and understand and make use of this ability to be able to live within whatever our environment is and to do the best we possibly can do, then we are misusing one of the most basic attributes that we have been blessed with. And it comes right from the plant stage. And then we move into the next stage, and that is the animal stage. And of course here, the most important attribute that has been added is the ability to move. See, plants have this incredible ability. They can seek their food, and they can move their tentacles out, and bring their roots on down, but they can't move away from their enemies. Animals can do that. We have the ability to go towards pleasure, to move away from that which is not good for us. And so we take on that understanding. We don't have to accept something. We have to stand still. We can use it as a metaphor. You don't have to stand still in your life. You can move. You can change things, especially when we get to the next phase, which is the human phase. And so it says that God breathed the breath of life into man, and he became a living soul. And that's what we are, living souls with all of these attributes, the ability to attract and repel, the ability to, and which is all creation is out of that. So we create the ability to adapt to our environment and to be, order and organization. There is much to be said for that in our lives. It helps to make life easier when we are ordered and organized. And so now we have the gift of reason, the ability to think, self-consciousness, self-awareness, to know we are the thinker, we are the willer, we are the creator, we are the chooser. And we have within us everything from all of the lower kingdoms, all of the other phases. And it's for us now to evolve in consciousness as human beings. It's wonderful to want to be more loving and to want to be more giving and to want to do all these wonderful things, which is part of the soul. But we're here to learn. Consciousness is forever evolving into greater and greater forms and higher levels of consciousness. And ultimately, what we're here to do is to become awake. We come into this life, for most people, I mean, there's a few maybe that, awake when they were born, I don't know, but most of us come in and we are asleep. We don't know who we are. We don't know why we're here. We don't even think about or care about it. And then some of us, and certainly everyone in this room, has begun awakening. For all I know, some of you are fully awake like a Buddha, but I don't know. I know I'm not. I'm working towards it, but I ain't there yet. So we're awakening because we are aware of the fact that we are part of this consciousness, that we are a unit of all that is, that we are a part of God, that we are a part of Source, and we have all of that energy and ability within us, and we can use it, but we have to learn. We have to awaken, and we have to study, and we have to grow, and we need to understand the laws by which this universe operates. There's metaphysical laws, and there's physical laws, the laws of energy. These are actually the universal laws, the laws of energy. The law of polarity, the law of vibration, the law of cause and effect, all of these, law of rhythm, and I don't mean birth control. This is part of life, and we need to understand that. And it doesn't come to us just because we say, gee, I want to know that. That's why we have all of these wonderful authors and mystics and metaphysicians and philosophers that have come before us. You have a library full of these books. We have a library full of these books. And they all say something somewhat, there's a thread of truth through all of them, but they say things in a different way. And different people need to learn things in different ways. And so when we begin to read these, and we begin to build in our own mind to truth for us, and then we meditate, and we contemplate, and we reflect, and we use, and we'll trial and error. We're going to go out there and, everything's not going to work out right. But we understand we live in a universe of polarity. There's a lot of things we don't like out there, but they exist. And it's up to us to be able to bring ourselves into harmony, vibrational harmony with the things that we want. And there are many ways of releasing the negativity that we have taken on just by being alive, not just in this lifetime, in all of our lifetimes. And that, thank goodness there are people out there that are able to show us how do you release this, sometimes through breathing, sometimes through tapping, sometimes through certain affirmations and intentions, but ways of being free of so many of the impediments that stand in the way of our being able to be who we really want to be, which is this infinite divine being that we are here to be. And then we evolve into And consciousness evolves where it wants to go, to cosmic consciousness. That's awake, that's enlightened, that is being who we truly are, divine, infinite beings who have come out of choice to Earth at this time, to this third dimensional illusion that we call reality, and be able to create a life, not only for ourselves, that is beautiful and fulfilling, but for everyone with whom we come in contact. To be able to, that's what we're all here for, to help to change the world. But we need to know who we are, and we need to get the material and the information and want to, and have the desire. And the meditation, I must say, is so important. So I think my time is up. And because I could go on with this speech forever. So thank you.